All right, guys, so thank you all for coming out. If you do not know, which I'm sure you all do, my name is Mr. Trae, and today I will be going over the words of power. I have some guest speakers who have taken time out of their day to come out here and share their insight on this as well, right? With the words of power, it's not something like open sesame or something like that. It's a concept I wish I understood when I was like your guys' age coming up, especially as you guys get older, you go into school, some of us going into high school, where we need to be aware of words and the meaning that they have. I feel words are thrown around pretty loosely without understanding the weight and gravity that comes with it. Words carry energy, they have weight, they can evoke emotions. They can make you feel happy, make you feel sad, make you feel anger, make you feel gratitude, right? And these emotions are valid. They can be very strong. Okay, so as you guys came in, we had these sheets handed out to you guys. You guys don't have to sign your name, but please fill it out. And once you're done, if you guys can pass it back to Mr. Luke over here in the corner, and he'll go into the next part. Everyone here has heard the term, sticks and stones may break my bones, but the kids, really? That's just the parents' things? Okay. You never heard that? Okay. Well,
no, it's like
okay, yes. Well, the phrase is sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Which, it's more of a physical sense. Yes, if I throw a stick at you or a stone at you, it's going to hurt. If I throw words at you, it's not going to hurt physically, but it can hurt emotionally. And emotional pain can very well be as equal to physical pain. All right, so we want to be careful with the things that we say. The words have the power to uplift someone, or they can tear them down. All right. Right now I want to show a quick video before I get deeper into that. In this video, it illustrates me uplifting someone and me tearing someone else down.
I'd agree, man. You've come a long way. Like that kid from way back then, I don't know if he'd be ready for it, but you really stepped up. I remember your forms, man. Your forms used to be rough. But through hard work, you transformed and you have like competition first place worthy forms. I mean, last competition you went to, you got first place in your sword form. That's just a testament to how hard you trained and the result of that action right there. You're a hard worker. You don't let the little things define you. You've made plenty of mistakes in the past. If you always focus on the good things about yourself. You know, you have us here to help guide you along the way, but you're always working hard. You have, again, second degree, you have a tall task at hand. You know what that is?
Yes, sir.
Control, body control. And that's Paul talked to you about that before.
Yes, sir.
And you struggle with that because you're growing up and you're not used to your body's getting longer, so you gotta learn how to use your limbs and stuff, which is something a second degree would know how to use. They know how to use the body control. They have control of the body, emotions, all that. So this is kind of tough for a person in that part of life that you're in right now because you're growing up. All right, but I see you're out here practicing. You're working with Mr. CJ in private classes, dude. You're getting the hang of it. You're doing good. So I have no doubt that you're gonna knock this test out of the water. You're gonna test your second degree, and and with your mom getting her third degree as well.
Yes, sir.
So man, just want to let you know, keep up the hard work. The next 6 months are gonna be tough, but I know you'll make it out successful like you've done everything else up to now. That reminds me, I have this questionnaire sheet right here. Can you please fill this out for me? So I just wanted to sit down and talk to you about your, you have a third degree test this year, right? Later on at the end of this year? Okay, so I just wanted to wrap with you about that because we had a benchmark a couple weeks ago and you weren't doing your best. Like you were moving like you were a yellow belt, like a beginner, and yet here you are wanting to test for a high degree black belt, you know? Like, the black belt means something, all right? We're gonna have Grandmaster flying out here and everything to watch this test. How are you gonna look if you're in front of them performing the way you did last week? I mean, you were like sucking wind. It was not that good. Like when you started off, you were like all for it. Like you were like a white belt, beginner. You were gun ho for it. You were all into it. But now you're really slacking off. Like you're not, the discipline part of martial arts, you're not keeping up with it. That's like the main thing for martial artists. We have discipline, but it's as if you want it handed to you. You're not going to work for it, and that's we're not going to have that for, we can't have that out in front of the Grandmaster. So, I don't know if you're ready to test this go around. I know you were looking to test in December, but I'm thinking maybe next year. All right? We got to get the level up. I can't have you out there looking like that. By the way, I have this questionnaire sheet right here. I need you to fill this out for me, and then we have more things we need to discuss.
I'm not good at tearing people down, so that's why I had to choose someone who I've been teaching since they were like 5 years old. Who knows that I wouldn't be, But anyways, in that, I spoke highly of the first. We're gonna give him a name. What name should we give him?
Gerald.
Gerald. All right, so I spoke highly of Gerald because Gerald's come a long way. All right, and I've acknowledged that. I've known Gerald also. I've been teaching him since he was like 5 years old. And now he's going on 13, getting ready to test for his second degree. I hyped him up. I let him know. I painted a picture for him for what he could be. He could be second degree worthy if he stays the course. And because of that, that uplifted him to where he filled out the questionnaire that you guys did, and he scored on an average about 8 to 9 for these things because of the feelings that were invoked within him when he reads questions like, I love my academic life. Well, he's feeling good about himself. So of course he scored naturally higher, stuff like that. I will achieve all my goals. Of course he scored higher. The second person, we'll call her
Lorax. Two.
Lorax. Now, with Lorax, I tore her down, all right? I just berated her as best I could to make it seem really cool, but I berated her. And because of that, that invoked a negative emotion. Now, were the things I said to her true?
No.
They weren't true. But here's the thing with that. I said it once, but when you say things in a negative sense, it can stick in someone's mind, and they're replaying that over and over and over until it starts to most likely define them and who they are. So although I said you're not ready, she's ready, but I told a lie. And if a lie said enough, it can be perceived as truth. And that's a dangerous thing. And because of that, Lorax scored pretty low on these things, about an average of 4 to 3. All right. Well, Lorax knows that I love her. She's good. She's on the right track. She's going to be fine. Okay. But so that goes into, again, the things that are said. We spend more time with ourselves and our own minds from the moment we wake up till we sleep than we do with anyone else around us, than your family, than your friends. I did some research on it. We think about 12,000 to 70,000 thoughts per day. 80% of those thoughts tend to lean towards the negative side. 95% of those thoughts are just repetitive thoughts. So it's not like we're thinking, 9,000 individual negative thoughts. No, we're probably thinking maybe a couple negative thoughts, but we're saying it over and over, we're repeating it to ourselves. And if we're in our own heads, speaking negatively about ourselves, that starts to plant seeds into our subconscious mind. If you don't know what that is, that's the part of your mind that, controls your heartbeat, so you don't have to. That's the part of your mind that controls your breathing, and it controls your perspective of the world, the reality around you. All right? So if you're told you're not good enough, this could be said by maybe one person. They said you're not good enough, no one likes you. It's not true, but that could probably mess you up to where you're thinking about it over and over and you're repeating it in your head. That seed's been planted, you're watering it, it's growing to where you start seeing that you're not good enough. And your brain doesn't know any better. Your brain doesn't know what a negative thing it is and a positive thing is. All it knows is you're feeling this emotion. And so what your brain's going to do, it's going to show you that emotion outside in your world. It's going to show you things to reinforce that you're not good enough because you're saying it to yourself constantly, all right? So that's why we have to be very mindful of the things that we say. I'm going to give you an example, a story of a black belt here. There's 2 black belts here who I'm very close to. One is a second degree black belt, fantastic. But anytime she has her struggles, as anyone here has. I have my strengths and weaknesses. Mr. Hill has his strengths and weaknesses. Every person here has their strengths and weaknesses in training. But this person always brings up the negative side. And it's not that they're being a Debbie Downer. They're saying it like in a funny way, like they're making light of it, like it's a joke. Like let's say we're doing like a jump spin heel kick, which is a challenging kick. They're like, oh, okay, well I know I'm gonna mess this up because I've never done it right. And although they're saying it as a joke, again, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a joke or not. And it's taking that as fact to where they struggle. Like before we even start doing the kicks, they're already counting themselves out and they can't perform. When in reality, this person's a second-degree black belt. They've trained, they've come leaps and bounds. They've acquired and achieved something that most people haven't achieved. So imagine the difference if they paid more attention to the positive sides, the things that they've done and achieved, than the negative sides, how that could flip their paradigm and how they think. Her son is different. This guy, you can't tell him he's awful for nothing. Even if you're just messing with him, you're like, no, I'm not. I got it. I'm good. And it reflects that in his training. Before he even does anything, he has the mentality of, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to acquire, I'm capable of doing this. And he rocks it. Granted, he's young, he's like early 20s, but it goes into the mental battle, mental aspect of things. You want to feed yourself positive thoughts. I'm the same way. When I was a kid and I struggled with something, I hear it all the time, weekly. Class is hard. I can't do it. I fell into that exact same boat when I was a kid, and I had to train myself out of it by planting new thoughts in my head, to the point now where I'm given a challenge, I'm excited about it, because that's a chance for me to improve in an area that I was weak in, and I see it as a chance to grow. Even this, I don't do seminars. The Master Mars asked, do you want to do a seminar? This is a chance for me to grow. Instead of running away from it, having a negative mindset about it, I took charge. I went for it, because this seminar today is going to help me be better for the next seminar and the next seminar after that. It's a process of coming up. So you just have to change your outlook on life. Yesterday, a student was crying during sparring class. I guess he got into a fight with his brother. His brother said something negative to him, was crying the entire time. He's like 6. So, fair enough. You say something mean to him, he cried. I was working with the dominant class, so the other instructors were working with him. I assumed that, they were working with him. They're trying to get him back up, get his spirits back up. I come back towards the end of that class, he's still crying. So I was like, let me check out and see what's wrong with him. I go to him and say, why are you still crying? You cried the entire sparring class. He says, my brother said something rude to me, and my mom said that it was okay to cry if my feelings get hurt. I think he misunderstood what his mom was saying. Your feelings are valid, and if you need to cry, that's okay. But what he did, he cried and he didn't do anything about it. I said, well, what did you tell the teacher? No, sir, I just cried. Then how's it going to get fixed? So the words that I instilled to lift him up was, yes, you're going to get knocked down, but you have to get back up. All right, and that's just life. Something negative. Everyone here has had something negative said to them, right? Everyone here has had that, but you can't let it take charge. You got to get back up, and that's just life. It's going to happen. You can't let it take root in your mind. And the moment I explained this to him, he's 6. He stopped crying. He was, oh, I could have done something about it? You mean I didn't have to just sit here and cry? I could have actually taken action. I'm like, yeah, man. And then he was upset. Well, I missed sparring class now because I was crying. And he's 6 and he's figuring this out. Like, I just stopped crying. And it wasn't even that big of a deal. And I'm like, okay, man, well, class is done today, but we still have next class. And now you know how to handle it from here on out, right? And if he takes that with him from 6 and I keep building on that, by the time he's grown, life's not going to knock him down. He's going to know how to take a hit and keep moving, all right? Because of the words and the encouragement he has in his own mind to keep him pushing. I was the exact same way coming up. If you don't know the story, when I came and I was training as a color belt like all you guys, I was a very quiet and shy kid. I did not talk to anyone. I came in, I did my class, I left, made no friends. I was shy. And why was I shy? Because I felt I really had nothing to offer anyone. If I spoke, maybe they won't like me if I speak out. Maybe if they see some of my character, they won't connect. So it's easier just to hang back, just do my class and leave. About 2 to 3 years into training, again, not talking, Master Myers offers me a job. I've defined myself as someone who doesn't speak because I'm afraid of how others will take it. He offered me a job to work here. Everyone who was working here at the time told him, sir, you sure you want to do that? Trae doesn't speak. You got to speak for this job. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to make connections. And I did none of that. But Master Myers sat me down, and much like, what was his name? Gerald, much like Gerald, how I cast the vision for his future, Master Myers did the same for me. You're going to be a fantastic instructor. I'm going to make you a wealthy man. I can see you leading a school. Where that shy kid could not have comprehended that. You guys have never even met that guy, and you never will again because he's gone, all right? But it's because the words that were given to me, when I couldn't plant those words myself, he planted them for me, and he showed me, and through time, I got there. Like, it was so hard teaching classes. I would be quiet, Master Myers, Master Paul would try to get me outside my comfort zone. Hey, teach them that, have some character, have some, flair with your teaching and all that. And I just go, you gotta bend your knees, gotta bend your knees. No one here can imagine me ever teaching you like that. Listen, you gotta bend your key up, you gotta key up loud, okay. And then I remember, and I struggled. I struggled about 2 months in. I was like, I think I just want to quit this. This is hard. This is so not me. Because again, I read the words I used in my head redefine me as someone who doesn't talk, who's shy, who's scared. But I stuck with it. I remember my first big win. I don't even know if you remember this. It was you and Master Paul. You guys were sitting on the sidelines. It was like a 6 o'clock class, small class. And I had some character for the first time. After being quiet all day, I was like, good job! And they were like, whoa, what? He can have emotion and stuff like that. And I remember they came to me with that and they're like, good job, that was a small win. But that small win propelled me forward. I could have focused on the negatives, because let me tell you, I bombed every class leading up to that class that day. And if I focused on the negatives, I wouldn't have got better, but I had to give myself that win. You got better with something, even if it was small. It wasn't big, it was small. But those small wins amounted to the person you see before you. I don't care, I'll talk to you, I'll talk your ear off now. I guess it doesn't matter. But again, it goes to the words that you plant and you nurture in your mind. If I can do it, you guys can do it. You guys are some smart kids. You guys pick things up a lot faster than I do. Like I see you guys, I teach you guys, and I've seen you guys transform in less time than it took me. So I know you guys are gonna be fantastic with that, all right? So just big thing with words, we think a lot of negative thoughts. And the reason for that is because that's just our nature as humans. We tend to focus on the negativity. We have a negative bias. What that means is it doesn't have to be something major like someone's bullying you. It could be something like there's traffic on your way to work and something, and it's like, I'm stuck here, and it's just a negative outlook. And we focus on that quicker, strongly, and more precisely than we do the positives. We have to take a moment to train our brains to take a step back when we have those thoughts and replace them with something positive. So instead of, oh man, it's traffic, put on a podcast, find something inspirational to listen to, or come up with your game plan. You're on your way to work, stand still traffic. How do you want your day to go? Something I started doing, which has helped me a lot, I actually started doing this year, because again, even I still need to improve myself and get better. It's every day I write 3 things that I am grateful for. It forces me to think and look for the positive things that has happened in the day, and it's training my mind to see that. And then I also set 3 goals for myself to achieve the next day. Does it have to be major goals? Like I can find, like right here, cleaning up my room, reading 10 chapters of a book, going for a run, doing my forms training, and getting into some yoga stretches, because it's good to just do yoga. 3 things, nothing gigantic, but they're wins, and they're wins that I can give myself. And it goes a long way. It builds up that confidence. Okay, I can, these small wins become bigger things. So it starts with this stuff. And it's me taking charge of my day the night before. 3 things I have to achieve. If I don't achieve it, I'm not negative. I'm not saying, oh man, I just suck. I couldn't even do 3 things today. No, I have to sit there and analyze, okay, well, why didn't I do this? And how can I make sure I do this the next day? How can I make sure I stay on my goals? And again, it's just you're holding yourself accountable, and you gotta be your best friend at the end of the day. You gotta be number one, you gotta be looking out for yourself, all right? Because mom and dad, they're gonna support you, your siblings are gonna support you, we instructors are gonna support you, but at the end of the day, if you don't support yourself, you don't believe in yourself, that's what matters most. So you gotta learn to be your own best friend, spend time within yourself, talk to yourself, Not out loud, it's kind of strange, but talk to yourself. I'm joking, but still. And yeah. What's your question, bud? Positive selfishness? What do you mean by that? Not like that. I don't mean like you tear someone else down to get ahead. I had like positiveness in like yourself. Like what's an example I can give? Yeah, be your number one fan. And you can be your number one fan without tearing anyone else down. You don't have to do that. They don't go hand in hand. All right, Charlie, what up? Absolutely. Love this connection right here. Yes, you're planting seeds. Yeah, so it's like a plant. You gotta nurture the plant for it to grow. You plant that seed, you water it, you give it sunlight, and it grows. And that's exactly right. Plant these positive thoughts in your head. All right. One last thing I want to say before I hand it over is that there's an exercise we can practice with this. You have to be aware the moment you have a negative thought. Studies show that you need 5 positive thoughts to outweigh the 1 negative thought. It's just to counter it. Again, because we as humans naturally focus on the negative, so we have to retrain and reprogram our brain to focus on the positive. So if you ever, even today, again, you're going to think of something, it doesn't have to be something dramatic, but it can be something like, I don't want to do this. It's a negative thought. Replace it with 5 good things immediately. Catch yourself, fix it, so you can develop that strong habit. We have other guest speakers. I got out of my shell from years ago. I will talk off your ear for the entire time, but I want to give other speakers a chance to speak. So I had you guys all fill out these sheets, all right? And this is much like them, just to gauge your own internal world about how words affect you. Now, those guys had influence. They had me either bringing them up or bringing them down. You guys came in already influenced about however your day went already. So when you're reading things like, I love my academic life, when you read that word or your career, what feeling does that invoke in you? Or is it like, I don't like school? Or is it like, I love school. I like my job. Or, I don't really care about It's those things those immediate thoughts that trigger when you read individual questions and statements. So on average, you guys actually scored pretty good. We had average of 8 for one paper, right? Average of 10 for one paper, of 9, 7, 9, 5. Again, no names are on these, so I don't know who it is. But again, you got to look inward. Why do you feel that way? And how can we flip that situation to where you can see a brighter side for why it is you feel this way? So I promise you, there's a brighter side. There's a better way to tackle these situations. It doesn't have to always be negative. We can find ways. All right, we have a 7, and then this guy got an 18. I think that's just an 8. I think you actually put a 1. But yeah, this guy went above and beyond over here for 18. Yeah, so this is just a questionnaire to, again, the takeaway for this is I really want you guys to look inward, focus on the things that you say to yourself, all right? It's not the words that are said to you, it's the fact that you repeat them and you let them define you. Choose good words of strong meaning to define you. Not something that some person just said offhandedly and they go about their day having a good day while you're stuck in the dumps because of something that they said to you, because that's not fair to yourself, all right? You're more deserving of that, worth more than that, okay? Coming on to our first speaker, we have city council member who's a 2nd-degree black belt in Taekwondo. All right, we have Dr. David. Guys, give him a round of applause.
I am council member Scagliola. I'm going to talk about a little bit about leadership. Only 2 types though. I was in the Air Force for a little while, and they says anytime you give a talk, you should have 3 main points. Well, oh well. I got 2 for you. How's that? My first leadership style is an authoritarian leadership style. And the second one is servant leadership style. Well, I'll tell you what. Hey, stand up for me. Stand up. Cheery up. Kinye.
Good.
Awesome. Okay, sit down. Why did you stand up when I told you to? Go ahead. Because I told you to, yeah, but who am I to tell you to stand up? Am I? Huh. Okay, there's a couple of problems with that authoritarian leadership style. You see, you're all very well behaved, so you have no trouble following that kind of direction, right? But that doesn't work with everybody. And also, there's a certain requirement on me. Because if I'm not somebody you respect, are you going to stand up, cheer up, Kinye? Chances are no, okay? So I've had to earn a certain amount of respect. I started out a long time ago. I came down to Texas. I'm not even going to tell you when, because then oh my God, that guy's old. Yes, I am old, but I'm not as old as you may think. But I came down to Texas, courtesy of the United States Air Force. they invited me down to Lackland Air Force Base. And it was like going to summer camp because it was May and then June and July. You know how hot it gets here in May, June, and July? Yeah, it wasn't exactly like a resort. So I was Airman Basic Scagliola. How much leadership authority do you think I had as an Airman Basic? Yeah, next to none. And that they got on and they yelled at us, get us off the bus. That was real authoritarian leadership style by the sergeants and the staff sergeants. Well, as I went through my Air Force career, I went up in rank, and then as you gain rank, you get some more authority. And when I was a Sergeant Scagliola, oh my gosh, that was impressive to some people, but not to many. Then I went off to college, joined ROTC. I got my degree, and I got a commission. At that point, I was Lieutenant Scagliola. So all those enlisted people, hey, guess what? I outranked all of those enlisted people. So I could tell them what to do if I had to. And then I made captain, and I was a flight instructor. I flew around in B-52s. I've been instructing since around 1986 is when I became an instructor as a captain. And I've been teaching ever since then. After I retired, what are you gonna do? Well, you know what? I kind of like leadership and I like teaching. So I started teaching at the Randolph Air Force Base. I love mathematics and statistics. Who loves mathematics? Oh, a couple? Good for you. Good for you. And part-time work, that's fun, but what else can you do? Well, I was the president of the HOA for a while. And okay, you talk about authoritarian leadership, it doesn't always work in certain situations, especially if you're an HOA president, a homeowners association president. Nobody wants to listen to you. They want to do their own thing. So I gave that up and I became a city council member. And it was really, really interesting that being a council member, I didn't need to work nearly as hard and I got twice as much respect. Because for a council member, presence itself is performance. It's a little odd. It took me a while to get used to it, and quite frankly, I'm still not very much used to it. But that I got bored again, and I used my GI Bill benefits, and I went back to college. And I earned my doctorate. So my students used to just call me professor, and I felt a little weird about that because I wasn't really a professor, because professors have doctorates. But when I got my doctorate, okay, yeah, now I'm somebody. At least I thought it was. But I bet that is why you stood up and you bowed when I told you to, huh? You probably just did that maybe because I'm wearing this or because Sensei Myers invited me by, and that's why you think I'm a person to be reckoned with. Problem with authoritarian leadership is, yes, I developed my reputation as somebody worthy of being listened to. But the other problem is, usually with an authoritarian leadership style, it is goal-oriented or mission-oriented. It isn't necessarily about you. It's about getting the job done. So it works sometimes amazingly well in certain situations. If you have to act fast, yeah, get it done and get it done now. Boom. Don't want to hear any conflicts. Just get her done. Yes, sir.
Sir.
All right, I like that. But like I said, it's not the best leadership style there is. There are others much more effective. The one I tend to gravitate towards now is called servant leadership. And you scratch your head a little bit because, servant leadership. It sounds to me like there's a contradiction there somehow. Because what do servers do? Go ahead.
They follow orders and respect their people.
Okay, yeah, that's part of it. Sure. Think of the waitress. What does a waiter or a waitress do? They bring you your food and they take care of you and they make sure you're doing everything all right? Okay, so that's what a server, but what does a leader do? Ingrain it in your memory. Leaders take care of their people. That is the purpose of a leader. Leaders take care of their people. Well, I'm a city council member. Who are my people? Okay, my students, yep. But you. Exactly. There are 45,000 people in the city of Shirts. Those are my people, okay? And I also get engaged throughout the community, Cibolo, Selma, Garden Ridge, Universal City. I'm out there and about. We're talking 100,000 people that I consider to be my people. We're all in this community together. Leaders take care of their people. Well, okay, I'm gonna have to admit, I don't have the time, the energy, the resources, or the money to be taking care of 45,000 people in the city of Schertz or 100,000 people in the Metrocom. I just don't have that ability. So what do I do as a leader? What is it leaders do? Go ahead. They take care of their people. I can't do it all. Not all by myself. Fortunately, the city of Schertz has about 400 employees. They have the resources. The city has the money to get things done. My job is made easy. Because now instead of having to look after 45,000 people, I can focus my attention on maybe 400 people, the people who work in the city. Because they're doing my job for me. They're taking care of my people on a day-to-day basis. All I have to do is take care of them, and they take care of my people. And how about the businesses out there? How many businesses you think are in Schertz? What do you think? 100, 200, 300, 400? What do you think?
800.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, aren't there? Yeah, there's more mom and pop shops showing up every day. I belong to the Chamber of Commerce. When I started with the Chamber of Commerce, there were 45 businesses that were associated with the Chamber of Commerce. Now there's 400-ish. And sure enough, every day there's about 1,000 people coming to Texas. Why? Well, because it's Texas, right? It's a great place to be, a great place to work, live, and play. So you're absolutely right. There are a lot of businesses. We love Texas, don't we? And apparently we're not the only ones. So yeah, there's a lot of businesses out there. And the reason I belong to the Chamber of Commerce is because if I give my support to the Chamber of Commerce, well, they spread it throughout all the businesses out there. So I can take care of the businesses by showing my support to the Chamber of Commerce. And the beautiful thing about being a servant leader is I know it's not about me. Like I said, being a council member is sometimes a little too easy because presence itself, some people misconstrue as performance. Just showing up, people think, oh wow, that person's making a difference. But I know for a fact it's not about me. It's about the individual. It's about you. I love coming over to the school, I really do, because Master Myers is doing my work too. He's molding you into good citizens, and I'm pretty sure that you are going to mold other people in the same direction. And do you have to be a black belt to be a leader?
No, sir.
No. Huh. Can a white belt be a leader?
Yes, sir.
You betcha. Anytime you can pass your skills along to somebody else, anytime you can teach them positively, reinforce them. Wow, that was a great kick. Very good. I like that. Oh my gosh. You are motivating people. You are becoming a teacher. And little by little, if you keep building on that, those positive experiences, those positive tendencies, you are going to make a great leader someday. Maybe not everybody wants to teach at Taekwondo. Maybe not everyone wants to do that, But trust me, the lessons you learn here apply pretty much anywhere and everywhere you go.
Love it.
Thank you.
To grow to become a leader, like Dr. David was saying, again, goes back to your thought process and how you perceive. You're going to uplift people. Like Master Mars uplifted me. I hope I uplift you guys. Yeah, I got one in the back. All right, good. I got two. Okay, I got three. Okay. Oh, awesome. Good. I'm doing the right thing. Okay. But it comes to how you perceive yourself. If I was negative, I couldn't give you what you need for you guys to take on the world. All right. So even now, even I'm still growing to become even better for you guys, to help serve you guys, so that you guys can take on the world. And it all starts with our inner world. All right. So again, keep up with that. Positive thoughts. I want to do a quick exercise at the end of this, but before we do that, we got one more guest speaker, guys. This guy is a published author. All right. He is one of the highest ranking black belts in Kunja Masul in the state of Texas under master. I had the honor of testing with him for our 4th degrees. Please give it up for Mr. Hill.
All right, so I'm going to take you down a little different road when it comes to the power of words, okay? It's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Actually, I wrote a book about it. Everything that Mr. Trae is talking about is very true. He talks about the words you use and the things that you think about. They affect you. They turn you and transform you into those words. So, first off, y'all know a lot about who I am. Y'all know I wrote a little book about it. But I'm going to start with this quotation. We must go from not knowing, and not knowing that we don't know, to simply knowing, and it becomes the natural person that we are. And I've looked at this a lot over the course of my life. We all start off as infants, and we don't know. In fact, we don't even know that we don't know something. That's where we're at. And humanity, as we grow up and as we grow, we have to transition from not knowing and not knowing that we don't know, all the way to it just is. This is who we are. We know what we don't know, and then we go on to we know it, and we just live and breathe it. You are what you eat. We all know that, right? If we eat bad food, we're not going to feel good. We're not going to think good. We're not going to act right. We're going to be off the reservation, so to speak. We do the same thing with the things that we think about, and the things that are said to us, and the things that we say to ourselves. So you are what you think as well. And you're feeding your mind. You're not feeding your mind food, although that's actually happening, because you have to eat, and that supplies nutrients for your brain. But also what happens is the thoughts are feeding and changing the neurons in your brain. Every time something negative comes up, at first you might look at that and you might reject it. For example, somebody says to you, "You're ugly." Well, the first time they say it, you're going, "No, I'm not. I'm not ugly." But then they say it again, and they say it again, and again, and again. And in the beginning, you're thinking that's nothing but a big lie. But they say that over and over again, suddenly that lie, over time, becomes truth. So we have to feed our mind the right words. And there are certain words that you should look at. And I'll give you examples of them. Things like, respect. That's a word. But what does it mean? Gratitude, right? Loyalty, discipline, honor, bravery, leadership. What do those things mean? We can define them. We can go get the Webster's Dictionary. We can look at it. So, respect means showing deference to somebody that you admire. But there's a lot more to it than that. And so what I'm going to suggest to you is that not just to enrich your vocabulary and then create what are called buzzwords. Buzzwords are those things that we hear a lot of times in other martial arts schools, right? Not all of them, but some of them. You go in, you say, "I want to sign up for class. I want to learn how to kick and chop and flip and flop." And what happens is they say, "Oh yeah, and we'll teach you respect and discipline and focus." Those are just buzzwords because you don't know what they mean. I mean, you kind of know the definition, but you don't know what they mean. My suggestion is that you take these words and delve into the concepts behind the words. What are concepts, right? Concepts are like philosophy. I know that's a big word for you young guys, right? but it's about what you believe in or what's really deeply at the core of that word. And you delve into that word and you think about it, process it, and then actually go out and look for examples of it. Okay? What would be an example if we use the word respect? What would be an example of respect? What would it be, Jude?
If somebody tripped on something, then you could like be respectful and help them out.
You could. What Jude said was if somebody fell, you could help them up. And in that way, you're showing respect by helping them, by lifting them up and taking care of them. That's a form of respect. What's something that we do every day in the school? If Mr. Trae says to you, Charlie, can you go over there and get that kicking pad? What would you say to Mr. Trae?
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Is that not an example of the concept of respect? And it's an easy one. It's one that we do every day. Every day. And so you have to go by, look at those things. Now, I can tell you my own personal story, all right? So I spent 10 years in the Air Force. And before that, I was just a little country boy out in the Midwest, going to the Air Force. And everybody's, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir, no, sir, right? And you get all that because it's, it's a military thing, right? And it's like Dr. Dave was talking about, this authoritarian leadership where you've got to show respect because of rank and stuff like that, and because they're in a position of authority. But there's more to showing respect to somebody. I look to, for example, Mr. Trae and Master Myers and some of the other masters that I know. It's not just that I say yes, sir, to Master Myers simply because he's a master, okay? I say yes, sir, to Master Myers because that's just the way I am at this point. When I started, I was not that way. I would come to the school and I would hear everybody saying yes, sir, no, sir, and I'm like, wow, they're really heavy on this yes, sir, no, sir stuff, right? But after a while, you start to do it yourself. You start taking action. You start to become part of that culture that shows respect. And you start to take action. You start doing the concept. So now you've gone from you know what it is to take action with that particular word. And you start playing around with it. Over time, as you continue to think about that word, use the concepts of that word, eventually it becomes who you are. You become a living personification of that word. In this case, it would be respect. And then everybody would get to know, because this happens a lot with the instructors here. We all go, that guy Leo, he's always so respectful. Every time he's in class, he's always yes sir, no sir, and he runs fast, he gets everything done. It's like he's such a breeze, and you want to be around him. He literally personifies respect. Now, how does that help you in life? Well, it helps you out tremendously. Because if you're respectful and just using that one word and living that word, then everybody says that guy's respectful. An example would be like this. There's a job opening, one job, and there are 500 people applying for that job. 499 of them don't understand the power behind the word and the concept respect. They go in, yeah, I'm here for the job. And they're coming up, they're showing up in radio blue jeans and hair all messed up, all crazy and everything. And they're walking in the door to the guy who's going to hire them. And they're like, hey, how's it going? I'm here for the job. And they just sit down right there wherever they want to. Are they going to get the job? There's 499 of them probably going to do that. But the one person who understands that word, respect, and lives it and breathes it will walk in the door. And even if they're underqualified compared to the other 499, they will stand out in a very good way with that employer, with that person that's going to hire them for a job. Because they're going to walk in and they're going to say, hello, my name is such and such. Okay, I'm here for the job. Oh, well, come on in, right? And come on in. Take a seat right here. Okay, thank you. And sit nice and neat. They look all dressed up. They look sharp. They're ready to go. When they answer questions, employer asks, so how old are you? I'm 57. Okay. What are your qualifications? Yes, sir. My qualifications are this, and this. Right? And they're being very respectful. Do you have any problems with working night shift? No, sir, I do not. Right? Those sorts of things. Answering them respectfully, not saying stuff like, do you have any problem with working a night shift? Nah, it's okay. I can do it if you want me to, I guess. Sure. That's not going to work. But if you act respectful at all times, they're going to rock with you. Now, that doesn't just happen with that word. That happens with a lot of words. Gratitude happens with thinking about bravery, and so on and so forth. So pick words, understand what those words mean. Then think about how you could use that word in a situation. How could you show that you're brave? You might be afraid to do a one-handed cartwheel. And bravery, by the way, has not anything to do about not being afraid. Bravery is about being afraid and doing it anyways and moving forward. So you have to understand the concept of what's bravery, to know that it's not about fear, because there is some fear, but it's about you having the intestinal fortitude to get up and do it anyways. That's bravery. Now, how do you do that? Page 14, my book, right? Define the word. Whatever word it is, define it. Then, understand the principle behind it. Know what it is. What does it really mean beyond Merriam-Webster's dictionary? Then, put it into practice. Every day. Every day. Develop it into a habit. You guys know about habits, right? Like every day, it's become a habit. You get up in the morning, brush your teeth. At night, you brush your teeth. That sort of thing, okay? Then, start to exist within the concept of that word naturally, as if it is just a part of you, like your hand or your ears. And then, from that point, you become the living example of that word. And that's what you need to look for. And you can do that with all sorts of words that are out there. Pick one and then act upon it and become a master of it. What I always say to you guys, you are what you think. So think the right words and understand them. And that's really all I have for you guys today.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. So, that's been our topic on the power of words, guys. I just want to make sure we leave out here understanding, so I can know who's paying attention. For every one negative word, how many things do we at least need to say positive about ourselves? Simon? Five. All right. So real fast, I'm gonna give a scenario. Give me a quick something you could say to counter that. So let's say you're in class. We're doing throws this go around. All right. And you don't know how to lift. You're struggling to lift. You can't get up, and you're starting to feel down on yourself. I can't do this. What's something you can say to counteract that within yourself, Connor?
But I'll try anyways.
But I'll try anyways. Hey, anyone got anything else? That's good. Charlie?
Try your best.
Try my best. Charlotte?
I can do this.
I can do this. Good. Mr. Luke?
Get back up again.
Get back up again. I like it. Oh, how about this? Sparring. Who here has been hit hard in sparring? And you're just like, I don't want to get back in the mix. Now, it's easy to have a negative thought process on that. However, sparring is cool because sparring is a controlled environment where we learn how to maneuver around that. Like if you're gonna get hit hard anywhere, I'd rather it be here on the mat and not out there. I'd rather you know how to defend yourself out there. So instead of having a negative aspect on sparring here, what's something we can say? We got hit hard. What's something else we can say to counter that? Connor?
I'll hit harder.
I'll hit harder is one. Clint?
I got hit hard, but it's okay.
I got hit hard, but it's okay. Maylee?
I'll hit them back.
I'll hit them back. All right, I'll give you some too. All right, that taught me I need to learn how to evade better. I need to learn how to get out of the way, bob and weave. Instead of having, man, sparring's hard. Okay, this just tells me I need to get better at this skill right here. This is something else I need to work on. And it changes your outlook on things, okay? What about school starting up? Going into the next school year. Who's here a little bit nervous about going into the next school year? Okay, what's something we can say to counter that? So we don't have a negative output. Charlie, what's something to say? Study. Okay, yeah.
I'll pass this year.
I'll pass this year. It's another time to learn, time to make new friends. You know, I can. What else, Luke? Mr. Luke, you had something?
Hey, it's just like the other year. I got this.
It's just like any other year. I got this. You know, anytime these negative thoughts creep into our head, let's take a moment. let's think of something to counter it, because honestly, it's not as bad as it may seem when we're thinking about it. We just gotta take a moment, analyze it, and realize that we can overcome this. We're better than this thought, all right? So, 5 things. And you guys can share this with the students out there, because you guys are awesome leaders. I see you guys, with each other. When you're on the mat, someone's struggling, I see you guys encouraging others, It's just one of those things. It's always easier to give people advice than it is to give yourself that same treatment. You gotta take a moment to build yourself up as you would your friends or your siblings. So again, that internal world, we wanna build on that, guys, so we can become better versions of ourselves, guys. I'd like to thank you guys for coming out. Again, Mr. Hill, published author, has this book, The Art of Powerful Words. You can see they're in the pro shop if you want to buy a copy yourself. Hey, he might be able to sign it for you too. It's gonna be worth something someday. All right. But again, thank you guys for coming out. I hope you guys have taken something away from this. I'll be seeing you guys throughout the week, and I want to see you guys apply this and implement this in class, and hear that how you guys are doing this in your daily lives as well, guys. So thank you guys for coming out.